Hi, my second grade friends, Mrs. Real here with another book about plants for you today. Today, this book is called From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. Gail Gibbons is one of my favorite science kinds of book authors. She has great illustrations, and in a nonfiction book way, because this is teaching us something, so it's a nonfiction book, she's got great pictures that have labels and all kinds of things. So we're going to learn a bunch as we go along. Some of it we've already heard in some of the stories we've done together. Others of it may be new. There's a project at the end that you may or may not be able to do from home. And then some great fun facts at the very last page. So today I'm going to read to you From Seed to Plant. Last week's book was A Fruit is a Suitcase for Seeds. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope that you've been checking your food for seeds as you go. I also hope you're helping make your food, since we're all home a lot together today, or now. From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. I'll show you this page too because it's beautiful. So she's labeled all of these fun flowers. This is a tomato plant. In my last trip out to the garden, some of the tomato plants have the flowers on them. And then I had my first green tomato. It's still green, but there's like 2 more now. And there's more flowers on the other plants. There's some squash. Haven't gotten mine planted yet. A violet. A tulip, a daisy, a rose, a pea. It's a sweet pea. A buttercup, and a corn. It says most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. When I was growing up in Colorado, the people that lived behind my next door neighbors had a tree that had this kind of seed on it. We used to call them helicopter seeds because when they fall to the ground, you could pick them up and throw them, and they would do that whirly bird thing like a helicopter. We entertained ourselves with those for a long time. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. A sunflower seed makes a sunflower. An acorn off of an oak tree makes a new oak tree. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. Zinnias, dandelions, asters, apple tree. A flower is made up of many parts. So this flower, they've kind of taken and cut it in half. It's this one, just cut in half so we can see the inside. So there's petals. Those are the usually colored parts of the flower. The sticky part at the top of the pistil. So here's in the center of the flower is the pistil. The sticky part at the top of the pistil is the stigma. The part of the flower around the pistil are the stamens. Stamens make a yellow powder called pollen. There's a stem. The sepal is that beginning leaf part right here. At the bottom of the pistil are tiny egg cells called ovules. So last week we talked, oh, sorry, no, that was first grade insect unit lessons. We were talking about insects carrying pollen. Today in our plant lesson, we also talk about pollen and insects. They're both important for each other, the plants and the insects. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of the flower, like itself. This is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. So it's windy in the spring a lot. I wonder if that's part of it. I know it has to do with the weather too, but I think there's a reason that we need the wind to make the pollen blow from this flower to this flower, or this flower to this flower, and then they make flower seeds. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. So as this bee is in here looking for nectar, or this hummingbird is in here looking for nectar, the pollen on the ends get on their bodies, and then they fly to another flower and drop off some pollen and pick up some more pollen. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. The seed grows inside the flower, even as the flower begins to die. As the seed becomes bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. So as the flower starts to die, this fruit comes out, or this hard pod, and the seeds are inside. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. So this broke open and sprinkled the seeds. This pod is all ripe. The peas have grown really big. Did you know that you eat peas as those are seeds? As they get big enough, it pops the seed open, or the pod open. Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. So sometimes you have new plants of this kind because the seeds just fell down. The ground was good and they were ready to go. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along the shore. It's the pod, it's the seed from the coconut palm tree. It rolled down, or it floated away and came to a different shore. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. So here's that helicopter plant. That's what we called them. The dandelion has puffy tufts on it, so it floats further away in the wind. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later, they drop off onto the ground. I know right now my dog, the one that has really long hair, is bringing in lots of flowers and things from the trees outside because they stick in his fur. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the garden. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. Remember, we talked about that when I showed you the seeds that we were planting when we planted the jalapeno plants out in my garden. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. So here's the beginning of the plant. This whole part is the food that will go in the ground and we'll use to grow the plant. And then this seed coat is the layer on the outside. It's usually protective, so it gets kind of hard. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. Or if you plant things in your garden, then you water them. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot toward the sun. So here's our roots going down. Our shoot goes up. And then some leaves pop out. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight, and the air all around the plant. So plants need water and soil and sunlight. The minerals are the good parts of the soil that they need. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds grow. So there's the beginning of a flower. There's that flower. As it dies off, it will make the seed pod. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition, vitamins and minerals, and ... They are tasty too, just like we learned last week. So here's a fun project. I know a lot of you have been planting seeds, either with your teacher or on your own, as we've been going through some of this stuff. Here's kind of a fun way to do this. So bean plants grow the fastest. So I had a field trip out to my garden, which is kind of an extra one because stuff was growing. And I kind of misidentified a few, but I have like 6 or 7 bean plants growing because they're the ones that sprout the fastest. I also have several cucumber plants that are growing. So bean plants are really fun because they don't take very long to start doing what they're supposed to be doing. So this is kind of a fun way. So you can raise a bean plant without any dirt to start with. And this will help you see what's happening. So it says find a clean glass jar, take a piece of black construction paper and roll it up. Slide the paper into the jar, fill the jar with water, wedge the bean seeds between the black paper and the glass, and put the jar in a warm place. So if you happen to have a jar, a piece of black paper, and some beans, just the beans in your pantry, not the ones in the cans, but the dried kind, then you can put them along the outside between the paper and the glass where you can see them. The black just helps it so that you can watch them, see the contrast between them and the space. In a few days, the seeds will begin to sprout. Watch the roots grow down and the shoots will grow up. And once you have them starting like that, if you happen to have a pot with some dirt, you could put the dirt in the pot, carefully plant your small plants from the glass jar. So you put the seed and the roots in the dirt and cover them up. The shoots and the leaves need to stay on top of the dirt. Water them and watch them grow. So bean plants are really fun because they do grow fast. You can also, if you don't have a glass jar and a piece of black construction paper, you can take a Ziploc bag and get it wet. Get a paper towel in the Ziploc bag, get a wet paper towel in the Ziploc bag, put some beans in there, and then tape it to a window. And so the sunshine and the warmth of the window, they'll start sprouting in there too. And then you can plant them in a cup. You can even plant them like in a paper cup or a pot. They're just really fun to watch. All right, my friends, here are some fun facts. Seeds and plants, seeds and plants. Scientists who study plants are called botanists. Botanists. Scientists who study bugs are entomologists. Scientists who study plants are botanists. Some seeds sprout only in the heat of a forest fire. So while we don't love forest fires, especially if they're in a place where people live, sometimes the forest fire is good for the forest to kind of clear away some of the clutter and the brush. And for some of these plants that only when they get hot, like popcorn, that's the way the seed needs to be so that it can pop out of its pod and grow. Some plants live for only one season. They are called annuals. Some of the flowers that you plant in your flower beds, they only live for the spring or the summer, and then next year you have to plant them over again. Other plants die at the end of a season but grow back the following year. They are called perennials. So while they may not like, in Arizona, they may not like the summer, but when it's cooler, they're happy, or they might not like the winter in other places, but they're happy in the summertime. Plants in the desert, such as cactus plants, store water in their stems. They can live for a long time without rain. And then they're really happy when we have our rainy monsoon season and they get lots of water. I didn't know this fact. Mountain plants are short, so the wind can't blow them over. So if you're a plant growing on the side of a mountain or the top of a mountain, you don't want to be very tall because then the wind will blow you. So this way, if they're short, they get ducked down out of the wind. Plants move. Many flowers open in the morning and shut at night. Some close when it rains. Also, plants move toward light. Say, if you guys have ever can see in the background, probably not from here, I have a couple of plants on a bookcase right over there. This is my office at home. And I have one that's kind of a tree, and it kind of goes like this because it kept moving toward the light when I had it in different places. And so it grows up, or then it was growing down, and then it grows back up. It looks kind of like a Dr. Seuss tree over there because it just follows the light. It needs the sun. Some plants eat insects. These plants live in soil that doesn't have enough minerals for food. My daughter just got one of these. It's called a Venus flytrap. I wonder how it's doing. I need to text her and ask her. The biggest flowers in the world grow on the island of Sumatra. It can weigh up to 25 pounds and be 4 feet across. That's about as tall as a second grader. 25 pounds is a pretty good weight, and 4 feet across. So if you know a yardstick is 3 feet, it would be 1 extra ruler past that. I would like to see those flowers someday. That would be fun. Fun facts for today. Seeds and plants, seeds and plants. So my friends, I hope if you've planted things that they're going well. I hope that some of you might have the stuff at your house, some beans and a Ziploc bag and a paper towel, or a glass jar and a piece of construction paper to sprout some seeds and watch them grow. Or maybe you already have your garden and stuff out back, and it's all okay. I hope you're having fun with your plants, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.